problem for Auburn this series, just 3 for 20 with runners in scoring position. They've left 15 on base in the first 2 games. Tresvik ground ball right side, knocked down, and they do record the out. Styles stays with it, 1 away. Defensive miscues have cost Auburn in this one, as you mentioned in our open. But they've also had opportunities offensively in the 7th inning of game 1. Had the go-ahead run on first base with a couple outs. Weren't able to execute in that situation. And then last night, every time they pushed back against Mississippi State, the Bulldogs answered with the equal amount of runs in the bottom half of the inning.
Yeah, that was definitely what stood out to me, was the Mississippi State offense just did not go away. And State threw 3 different pitchers. Delaney Everett got the start. Josie Marin came in relief. And then we saw Raylan Chafin come in and close the door on Auburn last night. So in a different role than in game 1 when she got the start.
Ball 2 up high to Nelia Peralta. She's 1 for 1 with 3 walks and 2 runs in game 1. 1 for 4 last night at the plate. Peralta from Wellington, Florida, has played in 189 games now in her Auburn career. Hitters count for Peralta against Sosa. Ground ball left side, and that gets through. Base hit for the 2-hole Peralta. She will stay put at first base.
Got jammed up a little bit on that pitch, but it was a defensive shift by State. Seeing that Nadia Barbary was playing off the line, and Peralta just snuck it down the line and had a little bit of luck to get Auburn going this one.
It's a base hit in every game of the series for Peralta now, as Anna Wooler steps in. The lefty takes the first pitch for a strike. Wooler's just 1 for 7 in the series with a double and a couple RBIs. It's this one high in the air to shallow left field. Bernardini has it, 2 outs.
If you're Auburn in this game, you want to come away with the win. You lost the first 2 games, and you're playing on Monday night. You want to be able to answer back in this game, and especially with Lexi Sosa getting the start, you know that Raylan Chafin is in the bullpen. You want a fast start and just score early against Lexi Sosa so that you can get some runs on the board before you potentially have to face the Eagles.
McCrary goes opposite field, caught by Sells. Pretty quick inning for Lexi Sosa to start things off. Don't go anywhere. It's Mic'd Up Monday in Starkville.
Let's start the bidding at $5 million. Thank you, sir.
These people of privilege hoarding the financial advantages for...
The leadoff hitter for State, Sierra Sacco, is one of the most underrated players in the country, and she has changed her game. Started out as a slapper, transferring from Louisiana Tech to Mississippi State, and last year hit her first out-of-the-park home run against Arkansas, hit a home run against Nigeri Kennedy, last year's National Player of the Year in the regional as well, and has turned herself into a home run hitter with already 6 home runs on the year so far, 2 last year. The way that she has been able to step up since May of 2024, has hit 7 home runs in the first 500 ABs of her career. She had just hit 1. Remember, it was just a year ago she hit her first out-of-the-park home run, and she decided, Coach Sam Ricketts of Mississippi State said that she wanted to be a home run hitter. No more slapping for her. She is all doubles and home runs, a lot of power at the top.
And the numbers are video game-esque for Sierra Sacco, just absurd. And you look at some of the ones she's putting up this season, could potentially rewrite some Mississippi State records. It has been unbelievable to watch her in what is still a pretty young season as we just begin SEC play this week. Saw her hit a home run last night. She has reached in 22 straight games, has only been kept off base in 1 game all season.
Well, and Chucky, last year her OPS wasn't even 1,000, so that's her on base plus slugging percentage combined together.
What a play at second base. Sacco is robbed by Rose Roach.
That's one thing that Sacco said when we talked to her about being more of a power hitter, is how she's more aggressive early in the count and really squared that hard ground ball up to Rose Roach. But she's able to make a diving play on the one hop and then get up quickly and get rid of that ball. Sacco has major speed down the line, but well played by Rose Roach. If Auburn wants to beat Mississippi State tonight, they have to play defense like that.
Roach with a great play in the first inning. Last night for Auburn, it was Tresvik. This into center field at a running Abby Smith. Quickly, 2 outs here for Haley Rainey, the Auburn starter.
Swinging early in the count. We don't have to, I don't think, to show the Mississippi State lineup, but a couple of good defensive plays by Auburn. Look at where Abby Smith has played toward left center field. I mean, it's basically like she's playing catch with Nadia Barbary. Just hits it right out to her in the perfect position. What could have been a hit.
Sells takes strike 1 on the inside corner. Kiara Sells in the 3-hole of this lineup that hit 3 home runs last night. 352 average for the series. Along with those 3 home runs, 6 doubles and 14 runs so far in the first 2 games. 9 of those coming last night. Sells' younger sister Kaylani joined the team this year as well as a freshman. She swings through this for strike 2.
We saw Haley Rainey get the start for Auburn in game 1 on Saturday. S.J. Guerin came in relief. Haley Rainey, the transfer from Cal State Fullerton, who was last year's Big West Pitcher of the Year. Good pick up for Auburn in the transfer portal.
Rainey's 3rd school started at Idaho State, where she was the Big Sky Freshman of the Year. So she's just been raking in conference awards no matter where she's been. Just got a tip on that.
She'll throw in the mid-60s. Her go-to is going to be her drop ball this year. She's thrown it about 50% of the time, which is up 22% from what her pitch usage was last year when she was Big West Pitcher of the Year at Cal State Fullerton. A lot of ground ball outs because of that drop ball.
Speed off of Rainey's glove, not going to get Sells. 2-out base runner for Mississippi State.
Well, that's the thing that we've seen about State's offense, is that they're just not striking out a lot this weekend, Chucky. They're not striking out a lot on the year period. And both of the games, they've only struck out 3 times compared to 5 walks that they've generated. So more walks than strikeouts for State so far this year. Tough play for Rainey going to that backhand. I'm sure that ball had a lot of spin, ends up spinning off the end of her glove. And so Kiara Sells is able to reach from there.
Lexi Sosa in the 4-hole takes that first pitch in the dirt. Nice job by Kylie Brockman behind the plate to keep it in front. Sosa last night had to really work for her home run because she hit one in the first inning, was brought back in play by Isis Tresvik on a tremendous catch. So Sosa came up later in the game and put one about 80 feet over the wall and left into the trees.
283 feet to be exact to left center field. And I mean, it goes to show her power, the fact that the robbed home run was to right center field that Tresvik got to and climbed the wall to turn into a double play. Unbelievable catch by her out in right field. And the home run that did get out of here was to left center field. So Lexi Sosa has been a hitter that's generated a lot of home run power this year. And not just to the pull side, a good chunk of her home runs have come to the opposite field, to the right side of the field.
2-1 now from Rainey. This is hit hard into deep center field, but not enough on this as Smith tracks back to the warning track for out for 3. Pretty clean inning for the pitchers in inning number 1. 5 teams in College Station, with the Gators winning that series. And the question for these 2 teams, how do we get to that upper echelon in the SEC consistently? On Auburn's side, it will happen with 2 new head coaches, Chris and Kate Malvo, the co-head coaches, going up against the likes of Patty Gasso and Patrick Murphy, Tim Walton, all the great coaches in this league. As that's strike 1 from Sosa. What does it take? What did Chris and Kate Malvo have to do at Auburn to raise the level of this program back to back-to-back Women's College World Series in the 2015-2016 seasons?
Well, I think they did a great job already in the pre-conference season when they went 20-1. And it's all about accumulating wins before you even get into SEC play. And they did that. Their only loss was to Louisiana Tech in the pre-conference. They got 1 hit, but this is the same pitcher for Louisiana Tech that also beat Oklahoma State earlier on in the year. So not a bad loss at all for them. Their only pre-conference loss. Now it's just going to be about navigating the SEC 3-game series and figuring out their pitching staff. That's going to be the biggest question mark for me. You know, with a hitting coach like Chris Malvo, their hitters are going to figure it out offensively. He's going to get them to score runs. But with their pitching staff, figuring out who's their ace, how are they going to use their full staff around S.J. Guerin, the transfer from OU.
Ground ball up the middle, just what he wanted to see. That's the freshman Anna Lee Adams, who now has a 10-game hit streak in her young Auburn career.
It's always cool to see a freshman step up. She didn't get all the opportunities early on in February, and then she did end up getting inserted into games, and they've been unable to take her out because of her clutch hits left and right, because of the RBI production that they've seen from her. I mean, this freshman really earned a spot into the starting lineup for Auburn.
Some power behind her with Amelia Leck. From Thousand Oaks, who had a lot of power last year, led the team with 12 home runs and 37 RBIs, has just 1 this season, so still looking to find that power and run production as a senior.
Well, and going back to Chris and Kate Malvo taking over this program, Chucky, Chris Malvo told us coming into the series, he was shocked if you would have told him that they would enter SEC play 20-1 and be where they were at entering this series and entering SEC play. And he said it's just been so cool for him and Kate to watch the older veterans. There's so many in this Auburn starting lineup take ownership of this team, and they want to win, period.
Surrounded themselves as that one gets away, and Adams is able to take second. Surrounded themselves with a couple very good young and up and coming assistant coaches. Their pitching coach Riker Chasen, who they rave about, and then DJ Sanders, who they said she checks every box that is important to them. And Sanders, of course, a tremendous career at Louisiana and then finished at Oregon, and that's where she ran into Chris and Kate Malvo when she was playing at Louisiana. That ball's foul down the left field line.
Really assembled a great coaching staff and turned a lot of heads in February. They went 6-0 in our Clearwater Invitational Tournament, second weekend of the season, which was tough to do with the competition that we have going on there. Really have come out of the gates and have this different team identity than what they had whenever this coaching staff stepped onto campus back in August.
Somebody tell them we were talking about them. And DJ went over to the dugout, and that's just good TV, DJ.
Go talk to Riker.
Talia Martin, sophomore from Lilburn, Georgia, is the pinch runner at second base. Auburn sensing an opportunity here in the second. This is off the handle, but a tough spot, long run, fair ball. Martin advances to third, and Leck will stay put at first base with a single.
We have seen Kylie Edwards, the shortstop for State, all over the field. She is so athletic, almost comes away with this one. She at least was in a position to catch that, but that ball just falls in a triangle out there in left field. But the range that Kylie Edwards has up the middle of the field, in the hole, back behind her is very impressive. She's super athletic, but Amelia Leck able to find a hole on that one. And now Auburn has a little something in motion, a little something cooking.
Auburn, when the first RPI came out, ended up #1. Just an unbelievable start for these two head coaches. And after losing so much from last season to a superstar pitcher in Maddie Penta, this is where they were last year. What we saw, 29 wins, already at 20 on the year, and obviously have run into a little bit of issues here in Starkville. You also see those power numbers. They hit 45 home runs all of last season, already at 31 this year.
Slugging percentage up 25%, more extra base hits, scoring more runs a game, which is going to help out their pitching staff. I mean, the tough part is that they graduated Maddie Penta and Shelby Lowe. So imagine this offense with those two pitchers, in addition to somebody like S.J. Guerin and Haley Rainey, who's pitching tonight. With a couple of transfers, you would have had a really deep pitching staff. But unfortunately, you do have to leave college after you're done playing. So those pitchers graduated after great careers at Auburn. And now these new transfers and deep pitching staff are with Riker Chasen taking the reins.
Pitchers so highly coveted in the transfer portal. Guerin out of Oklahoma, two-time national champion there, and then Rainey with experience as the best pitcher in the Big West Conference. Leck going and safe. Excuse me, the pinch runner Lessman going and is safe at second. So two in scoring position now as Georgia Lessman takes the base.
First and third play, or they're going to let this throw go all the way through to Kylie Edwards. Runner at third, Martin, stays put. Now two runners in scoring position for Auburn.
Brockman hitting 200 on the season with runners in scoring position. Outside ball 2. One of those opportunities in the series, Amanda, that maybe we haven't seen Auburn take advantage of. 2-2 count. Big pitch coming up for Lexi Sosa. Fouled straight back by Brockman. Brockman in the 7 hole, but there's a good chance here for the Tigers to potentially roll this back over to the top of their order in the dangerous Isis Tresvik if they can keep this rally rolling a little bit longer. This is hit hard, and that gets through. At least one run scores. The other one coming around, and she will score. A 2-0 early Auburn lead. Just what the Tigers were looking for.
Yeah, it really is. And Kylie Brockman, the transfer from Arkansas, getting her first hit of the series. Perfect timing with two runners in scoring position because they stole Lessman to get her to second, which is going to lead to the second run on this swing by Brockman. Inside pitch gets jammed up just a little bit, but able to get it through the infield for Auburn, scoring first and for the first time in this series.
Brockman from Kansas City, Kansas, transferred in from Arkansas this season. You mentioned it. She was 0 for 6 with 3 strikeouts coming into that at bat.
Yeah, we talked about it too, Chucky, with Lexi Sosa starting. If you're Auburn, you want to capitalize on facing somebody other than Raylan Chafin, who you know is in the bullpen and can come in at any time, but want to try to score, get on top of a pitcher like this before you have to face the ace. So a huge opportunity that Auburn took advantage of to put 2 runs on the board early against Sosa.
Auburn has seen her pretty well so far in this second inning. No swings and misses for her in the game so far. 27th pitch coming up for Sosa. Throw down to first, safe. Close play over there. Like Hull was saying, I'm not sure as far as the potential challenge goes.
See how Riley Hull positions her body to then put the tag down. Whew, that is close. Although I will say, I felt like the positioning of where she caught that ball was a little bit in front of the leading edge of the base. So even if she would have been out, I think she was in an obstruction position. But you just never know with obstruction. Kind of hit or miss. You never know what you're going to get. But really close play. And it goes to show, too, Chucky, how much Jessie Blaine has improved back behind the plate. I mean, she has leveled up with the way that she's been receiving and throwing the ball offensively. Had a big weekend offensively so far in games 1 and 2.
Really a missed opportunity, because I know how much you enjoy talking about obstruction in our broadcast. So the fact that we didn't get that chance there, disappointing.
Yeah, I was thinking that we could just spend a whole inning on obstruction and the DP flex rule and just kind of go from there.
I could definitely use a class on the second portion of that. Sosa gets the swing and miss. Alongside Amanda Scarborough, I'm Chucky Kempf. Thanks for joining us, everybody. The first Mic'd Up Monday of the season. We are thrilled to be here for Mississippi State in Auburn. 2-2 up the middle for Edwards. Chance to turn 2. Not going to be able to get the runner at first, but they get the lead runner at second base.
Edwards playing more up the middle of the field, and Lexi Sosa got her first swing and miss of the game. The pitch before that led to a ground ball for the force out at 2. Again, Kylie Edwards just always seems to be in the right place at the right time.
Sophomore Edwards, freshman Styles. Samantha Ricketts has to sleep well, knowing the middle infield is pretty well taken care of in the near future. They retire Abby Smith. She moves the runner into scoring position. And they give Isis Tresvik a chance here. And we might see our first change of the night. Samantha Ricketts talking to James Colsey at the plate as Taryn Mowat-McKinney heads out to the circle. And is this when we see Raylan Chafin entering this game? We figured we'd see her at some point tonight. No, it's going to be Josie Marin first out of the bullpen, and that's what we saw last night. Marin had a very good outing in 2+ innings, so we'll step away as she gets ready. Top of the second in Starkville. Auburn up 2 on Mississippi State. How about next Saturday? Number 2 Texas, number 3 Florida, kicking off a big-time 3-game series at 2 Eastern right here on SEC Network. Game 2 Sundays at 1 Eastern, noon Central on SEC Network Plus, and then the series finale Monday night at 7 Eastern on SEC Network. Those are going to be fantastic games. That's Texas's SEC opener. They get to go to Gainesville. Welcome to the conference.
Tim Walton will be mic'd up on Monday night, too, is what that means in Gainesville, I think.
I think you're right. Josie Marin from Grimes, Iowa, second appearance in as many days for her. Really impressive yesterday, Amanda. They feel like the best is yet to come from Marin after she had a great freshman season. She's been struggling a little bit the last 2 years, but 2 innings last night, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts in her appearance against Auburn.
Yeah, I like the way that she spread the zone vertically, both up and down, which down is expected. Her go-to pitch is her drop ball. She'll throw about 75% of the time, create a lot of ground ball outs. But we saw her rise ball popping in there. Auburn's hitters to chase well out of the zone, expecting something down. They see that pitch up, and they chased it. So we'll see what she brings today.
Tresvik saw her twice yesterday, and she was 0 for 2 against Marin. She had base hits in her other 2 at-bats. Marin struck her out swinging and got a fly out to center field. 1-0 hit into foul territory and caught. Josie Marin, job done as she strands 1 runner in scoring position, but Auburn gets 2 in the second. UNC, got wins over all of those teams last year. But she has done an outstanding job, has a great pulse on this program and how she wants to build it moving forward. Comes from a very athletic family, of course. Brothers and sisters that played at the highest of levels. Her sister Kaylani still playing as a professional right now. What stands out most to you about Samantha Ricketts? I know you've covered her a long time.
Yeah, I played against her whenever we were both in the Big 12. Just her love of offense and her love of hitting. And the thing about Coach Ricketts, I want to call her Sam, but the thing about Coach Ricketts is that she's just so kind and sweet, but she internally has that competitive drive, of course, of wanting to win. But she's just such a nice person, but great offensive mind, and really love to hear her talk about hitting. She's kind of like the offensive coordinator of this Mississippi State offense. And there's a family that you mentioned with her sister Stephanie and Kaylani and her brother Richard. Athletic family.
A few softball players. Richard played football at Air Force.
And Coach Ricketts actually just got a contract extension as well through 2028, so congrats to her.
They might have been slightly, like, family game night intense at the Ricketts house, I would imagine. Edwards didn't get all of it to left field. McCrary has it, one out. Good start for Haley Rainey.
Definitely want to hear her mic'd up and get in on some hitting action inside the dugout. You'll see her right there toward the end of the dugout and talking to the hitters when they're in the hole, so before they go on deck. And she clearly has an array of pens. I'm sure each color has some different type of meaning, and she's very prepared.
It's organization at its finest right there.
See them all getting into the mind of the hitter. You see her laughing a little bit. Every hitter is going to be different, you know, too, before they step into the on-deck circle. Maybe some don't want to hear her talk at all. Some keeping a little light, loose. Other regrouping about what the plan and approach is at the plate as a reminder.
Bernardini into left field, and that's foul. Couple hits for her in the series. 2 runs scored as well for the left fielder from Elkville, Illinois.
And I think last year was such an important year for State under her watch of 2022 going to their first ever Super Regional in program history. And then the next year, they missed the NCAA tournament completely, didn't make it at all. So the high of all highs to the low of all lows, which put them into motion in 2024 to make some changes and to get back on track. They picked it up offensively, they played better defense, and really it was the motivation for the season that they put together last year to have those 34 wins and actually make it to the regional, where they had to go and travel to Stanford and face the National Player of the Year in Nigeri Kennedy.
3-1 now for Rainey, for Samantha Ricketts and company. It's a program that plays with a chip on their shoulder. They feel, I think, internally like they are a bit overlooked in the national landscape. And that's something that their star player, Sierra Sacco, really fits into. That's something that's kind of been her story all throughout her career of being overlooked. And probably why she fits in so well with Samantha Ricketts' program.
They're really confident in the way that they develop players, Coach Ricketts told us, where they're not going to go to the transfer portal as much. They have 8 freshmen on their roster this year. Don't hit up the portal a ton.
Bernardini walks. 1 out base runner for Mississippi State.
Just really confident in how they develop players, and Kiara Sells and Morgan Bernardini are prime examples of that. Moving into an everyday starter role in their junior year. In these past couple of years, they've been working with the coaching staff, developing, putting in the time, getting older, and all the details, and just being coachable. It's amazing coaching staff that they have at State.
Sells and Bernardini, 2 of their top 3 batters entering the season, had 23 combined at bats over the last 2 seasons. These are the numbers. First 2 years for Sells and Bernardini. Sub 100 batting average, all the way up to almost 360 this year. Talk all you want about player development, but those are the results right there from Samantha Ricketts and her staff. Those averages are written in green pen. I'm assuming they do green for good. That's what I would do. In my scorebook, it's green.
You could go purple, you could go black, you could go navy blue. You really have a lot of choices here with the amount of pens that are on the netting there in the dugout.
This is the hard-hitting stuff the folks tune in for on Mic'd Up Monday. Jessie Blaine been swinging a very hot bat this weekend to head in the count 2-1. She's 4 for 4, a pair of doubles, and a couple walks. Three and one.
You know, it feels good, too, against her old team. She was at Auburn before she went to Mississippi State.
Made 86 starts for the Tigers in her 2 seasons there. Tries to really get into that pitch. It's going to be a full count. Two from Rainey. Do the Bulldogs have an answer in the second? Great pitch on the inside corner for strike 3.
Look at Haley Rainey. She has brought the competitiveness and fire to the circle for Auburn. Just painting that inside corner. Great location. Is a couple of hitters in this inning going deeper into the count. The first inning, Mississippi State swinging at the first pitch a couple of times, working the count more against her here in the second inning, and she really rose to the occasion to get that strikeout of Blaine, who's been seeing the ball so well.
Stiles fouls the first one off. Big swing from the freshman last night, Amanda.
Yeah, it was. Platooning going on at second base for Mississippi State. Morgan Stiles has been one of those players platooning, just sending it over the left field wall. That was the third 2-run home run that State hit in the game last night in game 2. Ball was flying out of here.
Stiles, a freshman from Athens, Alabama. Takes that pitch down low, played club soccer. Was also on the volleyball team in high school, so a great all-around athlete. Her mom, Amy, played softball and basketball at North Alabama. One hit the other direction, taken care of by Leck over at first base. A couple clean innings for Haley Rainey to
turn into a double play. Like, I mean, I don't know if I'm like a magnet for these things, but I do have to say I was in College Station to see that one. I wasn't calling the game, and then I was calling the game when Tresvik did that. So maybe it's me. Maybe I manifest these things. I don't know.
Does that go down as an assist in the box score then? Slow roller, and first batter of the inning is retired in the form of Nelia Peralta.
Yeah, Kendra Falby played a great center field in College Station this weekend against A&M. Big series win for Florida, who didn't have Keegan Rothrock pitching for them this weekend. They stepped up in other ways. They lost game 1, came back and run-ruled A&M in game 2, and then won the rubber match in game 3. Huge win for Florida, knowing that they did not have Rothrock. And other people stepped up. Caitlin Oxley pitched well. Eva Brown threw a complete game in game 2. Looked great. It's a big win for Florida going into this weekend against Texas and Gainesville.
Mic'd Up Monday in Gainesville next week between Florida and Texas. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Who's the best team you've seen so far this season? Or at least maybe this weekend, who stood out the most to you?
Florida did with the way that they were swinging the bat. Maybe that's just because I was there seeing them in person, but the ball just comes off of their bat different. I mean, even a routine ground ball to second, the exit velo is 80 miles an hour off of their bat. So the way that they're providing power and leading the nation in home runs, I think they hit 8 this weekend against A&M. I mean, that offense is really something special and tough to put away, really.
Got a lot of big names on their entire lineup, but the freshman Taylor Shoemaker has been spectacular for Florida as we see the RPI top 10. Auburn rolling in at #1 after their 20-1 start to the season. Lofted into foul territory down the left field line and into the bullpen.
And of course, Oklahoma had a great series sweep against South Carolina, a team that was, both teams were undefeated going into the series, and a lot of eyes were on that one, and a tough couple of games for South Carolina. They lost 10-9, 10-9, and 2-1, so 3 one-run losses for South Carolina in Norman. Props to Oklahoma with the way that that ball was flying out of the ballpark. They hit back-to-back-to-back home runs at one point. So Oklahoma's offense really showed up and provided even more offense. So what South Carolina had provided, they swung the bat well, but Oklahoma just did a little bit better.
2-2 in the dirt. Anna Wohlers, the 3-hole for Auburn. There's 3 straight singles to start the second inning that got the Tigers going and finished in 2 runs. 3-2 hit into left field. Bernardini under it. 2 outs. Three batters faced for Josie Marin and 3 outs.
Josie Marin coming in, potentially being that bridge pitcher for Mississippi State, where Lexi Sosa got the start and Josie Marin comes in relief to potentially give the ball to Raylan Chafin to close this game. I think Mississippi State just wanting to see what they have behind Raylan Chafin. They easily could have started her for this game, but decided to give a different start to a different pitcher in Lexi Sosa to see what she could give them and then hand the ball to Josie Marin. I like that they're testing things out, knowing that they have the series win.
And that's what it is, right? They've got a little bit of room to mess around, not mess around, but to play with some things here in Game 3.
Yeah, I think for both of these teams, the question moving forward is going to be how they utilize their pitching staffs behind the couple of pitchers who have been their aces up to this point. For Auburn, it's been S.J. Guerin, and for State, it's been Raylan Chafin, who's there in the bullpen. They're kind of leaning against the fence. He's had a tremendous year, transferring over from LSU, and just looked really confident.
1-2 to McCrary. Inside, ball 2. See if we can get that mic'd up later from Samantha Ricketts on that call.
At the edge of my seat about it. I want to know what she said about that. And I want her to forget that she's mic'd up. I want to get the real stuff.
Held straight back and out of play against the netting, I should say, from McCrary, who had a home run in Game 2, trying to spark a comeback for Auburn. Homered on Wednesday against Troy in their midweek game. Fights the count full.
For Josie Marin, the thing to pay attention to with her is just the free passes. The walks and the hit by pitches have been really what would put her into a bind in her outings, with that ERA just over 5 entering as she comes into this game. And when she's getting out, she's looking good, but the hit by pitches and free passes are what have hurt her.
31 walks, now 32 walks in 32 innings pitched this season. I mentioned it last night, but 21 of her 22 earned runs entering the weekend had come across 6 outings. The other 4 outings, she had only given up 1 earned run in 11 innings pitched with 12 strikeouts. That's the freshman Josie Marin we saw burst onto the scene a couple years ago. Now Taryn McKinney is trying to work her magic and get her back to that level as a junior. Dangerous freshman Annalie Adams. Hard hit ball through the 5-6 hole. The freshman stays hot, her 2nd hit of the night.
She just has to be on cloud 9 about the way that she has performed these last couple of weeks. And she's just playing free. The ball must look like a beach ball to her, and she just continues to step up and be clutch for Auburn. And in a really veteran roster for Auburn, a lot of seniors that not only are on the roster but start. She has worked her way in there as a freshman, and they just can't take her out.
You know all about the freshman season. You Big 12 Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year in 2005. Was there a little bit of maybe blissful ignorance, like I'm just that good right now?
Absolutely. I had no idea what was going on and what was at stake. But because of that, it led me just to play free and no expectations. The expectations came my sophomore year when then everybody knew about me. I was supposed to be good as a pitcher, as a hitter, and all these different awards in preseason. But as a freshman doing it, it's just really freeing and it's so fun.
Marin trying to strand a pair here in the 3rd and bring the Bulldog bats back to the plate. 9-1-2 coming up for Mississippi State.
State really wants to see if Josie Marin can make it through this inning unscathed. Try to get her into the 4th inning. So this is a big batter for her, especially when it looked like she was on a roll. The first 2 hitters of the inning, a couple of quick outs to Peralta and Wohlers, the 2-3 hitters in the lineup, and then that walk. It has been the 3 passes that have come back to haunt her. Hitters entering this game hitting just over 200 against her at a 207 clip. That's a very good batting average against for a pitcher in this league.
2-2 to Leck. Thought it got her. She's pointing to her elbow. James Colsey not buying it. Chris Malvo wants to talk things over.
Could be talking about if it did actually hit her, where it hit her, if she's hanging out over the river, over the strike zone, a lot of different things that they could be discussing here. If I saw it actually, I mean, she seemed pretty confident about it, that hit her elbow guard. Looked like she was pointing to her left elbow or kind of motioning to her left elbow.
I almost thought it might have grazed like her forearm kind of underneath that elbow guard, but it was really hard to tell. I don't know.
I think too, this would be one if Auburn chooses.
Auburn is challenging whether their batter was hit by a pitch. This play is under review.
That last look was the one that I thought maybe made it look a little more like it did graze that part of the arm, but the side angle doesn't look like she got hit.
Yeah, I don't know if I see enough to overturn this. I don't know if I see it where it's like, oh yeah, the pitch, the ball changed direction, or I saw her arm guard move, or any of that. Ooh, this is going to be the Hawkeye look here. The cool cameras that they're using within the SEC, you can tell just how clear these looks are. And even with that, I don't see it.
After further review, was not hit by Auburn. This is their first try.
It's the indisputable video evidence that they're looking for and that we did not have. But you mentioned the new Hawkeye technology that the SEC is using. All the reviews still being done in Birmingham, but that new technology really special. Cameras installed in all the venues to give really great looks that can be used in conjunction with each other at the same time, and a lot of exciting replay innovation that's being done in the conference.
Well, and to ultimately get the calls right, that's what you want to do. And so the SEC continuing to invest in sports and make that investment in these schools, investing in their softball programs, to have that is a huge deal. I mean, you could tell just how clear that angle was, and that's because of the Hawkeye camera. Now you're going to pay attention to it in the series coming up for the rest of the season.
Leck works her way on, and now the bases are loaded. Big situation in the top of the third for Josie Marin in Mississippi State.
I think now would be a great time for a timeout with where State finds themselves, bases loaded with 2 outs. I would go and even if I'm Jesse Blaine, go out and have a conversation with Josie Marin right now, but it looks like they're just going to leave her out there and fend for herself, huh?
First pitch swinging, fouled back out of play, foul for strike 1. Kylie Brockman has already driven in 2 runs with a single in the second. Strike 2, good location from Marin.
And Josie Marin has such great down movement, 9 to 10 inches of down break. Coach Ricketts told us that she has on her drop ball. She just continues to challenge Josie Marin. Throw that pitch right down the middle. It has so much movement. Trust it.
0-2, foul territory and into the bullpen. Chance for Auburn to really break this game open right now, something they have not capitalized on in the series.
Josie Marin was really good at expanding the zone with 2 strikes yesterday and getting Auburn hitters to chase that pitch with the rise and the drop, having better takes against her. They saw her in last night's game, did their homework, and had challenged her to come more around the strike zone and her outing today.
1-2, hit up the middle, base hit. 1 run scores. They hold the other at third, and the bases stay loaded. But Brockman, 2 base hits tonight after really struggling in the first 2 games.
If that's going to be the only run that they get, Auburn's going to feel good about capitalizing after getting 2 outs, getting the bases loaded, and still being able to push a run across. Of course, they want more, but Kylie Brockman delivers again. All 3 RBIs on the board are off of her bat. She did not have a hit in game 1 or in game 2, but stepping up big for Auburn in game 3.
Auburn at Georgia Tech on Wednesday, and then Texas A&M and Texas are their next 2 SEC series. This game just feels massive for them to get something in conference play before a really tough stretch begins next weekend. Taryn McKinney, her 2nd year as the pitching coach at Mississippi State, a tremendous pitcher in her own right, of course, with Arizona leading them to a national championship, back-to-back national titles in 06-07.
And nobody knows their pitchers better than the pitching coach, who is spending, I mean, hundreds of hours with her pitching staff. But I would have gone out there before facing Kylie Brockman and had this conversation and tried to get out of this inning without giving up any runs, because at this point, every run that Auburn puts on the board, the game is feeling a little bit, I mean, it's just 3-0. I know that the game's not totally out of reach, but Auburn being able to capitalize and extend their lead is huge for their momentum in this game 3, trying to come away with the win.
Pinch hitter is Kyla Stroud, who we saw last night pinch hit and come through with a base hit. Sophomore from Covington, Georgia. The base hit last night was her first of the season. dad, Horace, also attended Auburn. He was a member of the football team. Oh, 1 pitch from Marin, and swings through it. 0-2.
Seeing that rise ball more out of Josie Marin in her couple of outings. Known for her drop ball, she'll throw 75% of the time, but some good swings and misses on that rise ball. She has to feel good about that.
0-2 in the dirt. Nice job by Blaine to keep that in front. Marin retired the first 3 batters she faced before 4 straight have reached. Got her working. Josie Marin on the bottom of the zone to strand the bases loaded. Auburn only able to tap. The Tigers are happy to have her, especially tonight. 2 innings, just 1 hit allowed by Haley Rainey, no earned runs, and a strikeout. What has been the recipe for tonight?
Well, for tonight and for Haley Rainey coming over to Auburn, what has stood out to me is just using her pitches differently than what she did at Cal State Fullerton last year when she was at Fullerton in the 2024 season, when she was the Big West Pitcher of the Year. She threw her curveball 30% of the time, 3-0. She's throwing her curveball here at Auburn just 3% of the time, throwing her drop ball a lot more, even locating her fastball, mixing in her changeup a little bit more. So with her pitching coach Riker Chasen, different look for the pitches and the looks that she's bringing these hitters, relying more on her drop ball, staying more down the zone with her drop change and fastball.
How, as a pitcher, do you stay ahead of the technology right now? I mean, everything that these coaches can see on you in the film, the amount of pitches they have in the scouting reports, how can you stay a step ahead?
You just got to keep up with the Joneses. Isn't that the same? I was going to say keep up with the Kardashians, and I don't think that that's the same. You know, that's a show.
Different thing.
You rely on somebody like a Riker Chasen who really is so heavily invested into the data, and as a pitching coach, you really have to try to work that in as much as you can.
Peralta takes care of Riley Hull, the 9 hole, so back to the top of the order now for Mississippi State. Is Sierra Sacco, who was retired on some robbery by Rose Roach in the first inning, diving to make a play to get Sacco out, which not many have done this season. She has been electric this weekend, as she has all year, Amanda.
She has. She's in all parts of her game. She has added the power, laid down that beautiful bunt to use her speed, stolen bases. And the fact that she can drop bombs and then also lay down a bunt right out in front of home plate, use her speed. She is not slapping at all anymore. This is a player who, up until last year, was slapping pretty much full time and then decided to swing away a little bit more, especially later on in the year. Hit her first out of the park home run of her college career against Arkansas, then did it against Nigeria Kennedy in the regional, 2 home runs last year, and bringing that power into this year to change up her game, still use her speed in terms of stolen bases and laying down a bunt, but you're really not going to see her slap at all anymore.
We got to talk to Sierra Sacco on the phone this week, and you asked her, will you still lay down a bunt? She said, oh yeah, I can do it. And when she did that, I thought just a little bit, maybe it was a little bit of a nod, like, yeah, I can do it, and here's how I can do it. She's got swagger, that's for sure.
She does. And I actually, before the series, I wanted to chat with Natasha Watley, one of the all-time greats in terms of slapping, who transitioned to be an all-time slapper and hitter, or excuse me, and bunter, and like more of a short game, and added power later in her college career too. And Natasha told me that her first home run that she hit out of the park was also in college, just like Sierra Sacco. And Natasha told me, when you hit that first home run, it is so contagious. Like, oh, I want more than just that. And you can see how contagious that home run hitting has been for Sierra Sacco. Getting stronger, being able to use the left side of the field more. I mean, just all around adding power to her game, taking what she did at Louisiana Tech in terms of average and on base percentage, and adding slugging percentage and power here at Mississippi State.
top 10 finalist for National Freshman of the Year at Louisiana Tech in 2022. We asked Sierra Sacco about her recruitment. Did not have an offer entering her senior year of high school because the few offers she had got pulled because of COVID. So those seniors that got an extra year, coaches wanted to hang on to those players, obviously, and Sacco lost her chance. Started to play in some more exposure events as a senior after her senior year in high school. Originally was a verbal commit to Stephen F. Austin before Louisiana Tech came in late, and she had a chance to stay in her home state.
Yeah, and she said that she trusts her swing more than her slap now. I mean, when we talked to her about slapping now, she was kind of like, I just feel kind of weird doing it, is what it seemed like. But the transition had been a learning process, and she felt like getting to Mississippi State, playing higher level of competition, her slap just wasn't working as well.
Samantha Ricketts told us she's been tempted to take her out of the leadoff spot because of the run production and how much she can impact the game if she were in maybe the 2 or the 3 hole, but she's just too good as a leadoff hitter to make the change.
Well, I like what Coach Ricketts has said, too, that Sierra Sacco has decided she's going to be a home run hitter. And that word, decided, it's one thing to say it, and then it's another thing to do it and live it and breathe it and be it. And that's what Sierra Sacco has done.
3-2 Sacco, great at bat, and rips it into right field for a one-out base hit. Or maybe listening to her head coach Samantha Ricketts mic'd up between innings.
Hey, this is the 3rd inning, right? We got a lot of game left. We need to show that we're the most excited to play, right? Our house, let's find some energy, some momentum. Let's go attack. Let's go.
Sierra Sacco picking up right where Samantha Ricketts left off in that conversation and delivering to set up Nadia Barbary in the 2-hole, who didn't love that one, fouled it off of her leg for strike 1. The Bulldogs had a chance twice last year to come up with sweeps, but fell short in Game 3 of both of those. Won the first 2 games at Ole Miss and at South Carolina. Their last SEC sweep was 2023 against Kentucky here in Starkville. They also swept the opener that year against South Carolina.
Well, and Chucky, you heard Coach Ricketts talk about, hey, bring that excitement. Let's go. Remember, it was just not, last weekend like yesterday, but the weekend before that, they lost to a Northwestern State team that, quite frankly, has one of the worst records in the country. I think their record is like 3-17 or 18 because of the one win or an extra win that they had against Mississippi State.
Another base hit through the 5-6 hole. First and second with one out.
And she challenged her team after that loss to Northwestern State. Hey, we have to show up. We have to play every game as if it's opening day. So you just heard her in the team huddle challenging her team with that same theme that lost in the game against Northwestern State, where they maybe didn't show up with that excitement, that love of the game, that intenseness, because maybe they thought that they were playing a lesser opponent. But now she's challenging them to show up right now while they still have time, trying to get this final win.
Second time through for Rainey, who allowed a base runner in each of the first 2 innings, but never more than that. Back-to-back singles for Sacco and Barbary. Now Kiara Sells. Sells kind of a spinner. Rainey gets the lead runner at third, heads up play by the pitcher, and that's out number 2.
Check the ball because that was hit off the very end of the bat. See if it scratched the ball at all and if it's still intact. I think the concerning thing is when you look at the 3 losses that Mississippi State has on their season. One was to Duke, and then another one was that one to Northwestern State, and another one was to Louisiana Tech, is that all three losses were shutouts. So for a team that really has a strong athletic offense, the concerning part to me is looking at their three losses and seeing that all three of them were shutouts. So another way that she's trying to spark her offense to get on the board and score runs in this game.
They've got so many different players that can impact the game with just one swing of the bat. Third most home runs in the league.
Mississippi State is challenging the call at third base for possible obstruction. This play is under review.
All right, Chucky.
You get your moment.
We knew we were gonna have one. I feel like one comes up in every game. Not too often, I feel like, that you see it on a force play, though. So we'll take a look at where Wohlers starts before she has possession of the ball. She is blocking the leading edge. I think the question is going to be if the throw beats Sierra Sacco pretty clearly.
After further review, the call on is upheld. Out.
And I do think, Chucky, that Wohlers was blocking the leading edge of the bag. It's one of the things that the umpires look for. But Sierra Sacco hadn't even started her slide by the time that Wohlers had got the ball, which is a big part of what they look at to see if the throw clearly beat the runner to the base. So you see, too, she has the ball. Sacco just now is going to her slide. At this point, so no obstruction on the play. Good call.
One challenge remaining for Mississippi State now. Sosa fouls that one off. 2 outs, 2 on, and Lexi Sosa, the big-time power hitter with 8 home runs on the season, leading Mississippi State, is at the plate.
I mean, look at these numbers. Isn't this wild to see? No home runs at UCLA or last year at State. 8 home runs this year, getting more at bats. She hit this home run last night that went 283 feet, trying to work her inside because she likes to stand off of the plate. Coach Ricketts says she tries to bait pitchers to throw her inside. She got it. She was on time, well on time, and sent it out of here. Now let's see what she can do with 2 strikes and a pitcher's count.
Big pitch from Rainey, inside, knocked down. Sells will stay put. It's been a long college journey for Lexi Sosa, who was the youngest verbal commit in UCLA history. Here she is now, 23 years old, in her 6th year of college softball. 1-2. Back to Rainey, a little off balance, but Haley Rainey makes the play and strands a pair. Zeros on the board through 3 innings for Haley. Josie Marin stays out there. She entered this game with 2 outs in the 2nd inning. Retired the first 3 batters before 4 straight reached in the 3rd. She only gave up 1 run in that inning. As you see, Raylan Chafin out in the bullpen, potentially preparing for another relief appearance. Got her first save as a Bulldog yesterday. Went the distance in game 1 as the starter. (9-1-2) here for the Tigers. Abby Smith leading off, takes ball 1 up and in. Smith from Austin, Texas. Chris Malvo said, yeah, she's from Texas, but she is Auburn through and through. Was great with their transfer portal visits in the summer, taking those players all around campus, giving tours, telling them all about the program. Ahead in the count, 2-0.
She's another one of those seniors that have just been so instrumental in helping with this transition and changing the identity of the program. And Coach Malvo, told us these seniors want to win. They have that mindset, and they start quite a few seniors in their lineup have really veteran team that has led the way.
Smith taking all the way, strike one from Marin. Auburn now up to 19 that they have left on base in the series. Strike two. Marin bouncing back here, trying not to give the top of the order something to work with. Alexi Sosa go through the order one time. Marin finishing up her first full time. Smith into right center field and down. This is going to the wall, and she's got wheels. Smith around second and into third with a triple.
Sierra Sacco, the center fielder for State, was playing more toward left center field, and it opened up a big gap in dead center field, where even with the speed of Sacco, this ball is able to get well past her and go all the way to the fence. And when you have speed like Abby Smith to not only just get to first, but go all the way to third base for a triple, easily gonna make it with her speed.
Smith, the leadoff for the leadoff hitter. Isis Tresvik in the top of this order coming up. Isis had a fantastic start to the season, hit .484 with 6 home runs and 16 RBIs in her first 10 games. Hasn't homered since then. Has just 1 RBI since that point. .2-0 pitch, strike one.
Such a good athlete. She can pitch a little bit. We saw her rob that home run in right field. They love the defense that she plays out in the outfield, where it's harder to get her some innings in the circle, even though she's pitching a little bit more this year than what she did last year. But when she plays and has such a good glove out in the outfield, it's hard to want to move her, put her anywhere else.
Worked ahead 3-1. How far are you letting Marin go here if Tresvik makes it on?
Not very far, but it
might get the lead runner. Smith in some trouble right here. Taking her time, though. Tresvik is headed for third base, and they're just going to run Smith back to third. So they essentially trade places. Smith out on the play, but did a nice job to let Tresvik get there.
Yeah, and if they would have played that rundown a little bit better, I mean, Abby Smith is extremely quick, but you want that rundown just to have one throw and an out. And if it would have had that, then Tresvik would have been at first base or maybe even second. But because it took so long, it gave her time. So good hustle by Tresvik to get herself to third base. Got way too many throws, throwing too soon. I mean, at least they didn't throw the ball out into the outfield or behind the catcher, or excuse me, behind home plate, but way too many throws, and that's going to lead to Tresvik easily getting to third base.
Nelia Peralta now with a chance with a runner 60 feet from home. Peralta, a former top 10 recruit according to Extra Innings Softball. All SEC second team in her debut season. Hits this into right field, down, and a run will score. Peralta delivers on the RBI single.
The one thing that you've just come to know about Nelia Peralta is that she loves the big moment. She loves the big play out on defense. She loves the big moment when she steps up with the runner in scoring position under the lights. Her team has to win. I mean, that's just what you've come to expect out of a player like Nelia Peralta in her career.
That's going to do it for Josie Marin as Raylan Chafin enters from the bullpen. Down 4-0.
Raylan Chafin has made quite a statement in her first season with Mississippi State and mixed up her pitch usage with working with Taryn Mowat-McKinney. It's been her changeup to me that has set Raylan Chafin apart, and it was Taryn Mowat's changeup that set her apart when she was at Arizona. So here's Raylan Chafin's changeup, very similar looking to Taryn Mowat-McKinney, who won a national championship when she was at Arizona and threw that pitch non-stop. It was just a floater. I hit against her. I could never pick it up out of her hand, but Raylan Chafin said that changeup was a pitch that she experimented with her dad over the summer, trying out different grips and ways of releasing it. And she kind of started to feel better about it going into Mississippi State. But what Taryn has helped her with so much is just the development of that pitch and the location and her confidence even more in throwing it in any count. So just wait for Raylan Chafin to throw this changeup. It makes you, let me try that again. It makes you think of Taryn Mowat when she was at Arizona pitching in the Women's College World Series, throwing that pitch nonstop.
She said working with Taryn Mowat-McKinney is one of the greatest experiences of her pitching career. She said she can go to Taryn and say, I want to try this, I want to try that. She's always open to working things out in the bullpen. They have a great relationship, even though they have not been together for very long.
She'll throw with good velocity in the upper 60s. Her go-to pitch, what she throws the most, is her curveball and her changeup. She'll throw that changeup in any count, and be on the lookout for her to locate that pitch through the zone for a strike, and then she can also locate it where it moves down in the dirt and use it as a chase pitch when she's working ahead. Gets a lot of swings and misses on that changeup. In fact, her changeup is the pitch that she uses the most for a strikeout pitch. 44% of her strikeouts come off of that changeup.
Already with some signature wins as a Bulldog. Her first Mississippi State start was their season opener against Texas Tech, out-dueling Nigeri Kennedy for Texas Tech in that one. Has beaten Nebraska in a complete game shutout as well earlier in the season, and then a complete game in the SEC opener here against Auburn.
I thought that it was cool, Chucky, when we talked to Raylan Chafin. We asked her about working with Taryn Mowat-McKinney, and she said it's one of the greatest things that I've gotten to experience is working with her.
One pitch, one out.
She is calling pitches for her now, and the thing that I look at too is that they're really similar size, height-wise. Like when you look at them side by side, they're both, I think, about 5'6", so smaller statured pitcher, and still finding ways to be great D1 pitchers. There it is.
Not that anyone needed to be told how great Taryn Mowat-McKinney's changeup was, but I ask you all the time, you know, who was this? Who's the best player you played against? Who's that? You said, I remember going against her changeup, and I could never pick it up. That's how I know it was good, if you're recalling it.
She could tell me, hey, Amanda, I'm about to throw you a changeup, and I could hear it and take it in, and I still wouldn't be able to hit it. That's how good that pitch was. Maybe it was also a bit of a me problem. I don't know, but it was amazing.
Chafin ahead of McCrary 0-2, goes upstairs for ball one.
Raylan Chafin told us that she came with a different mindset to Mississippi State. She said, I just want to put it all out there. Playing every game like it's her last in her senior year, getting to pitch more, be the ace of this staff, a different role for her than when she was at LSU.
Had a great LSU connection. Said her first real pitching coach was the former LSU star Brittany Mack. Said she taught her everything she knew. She did a lot of work with her dad, of course, when she turned 12 years old. They started working together, but really highly spoken of Brittany Mack, who was her first ever true pitching coach. One-two slow roller left side. Chafin with a bare hand and off her back foot. That's going to go down as an infield single for McCrary anyway, as Peralta advances to third.
It's been Auburn that hasn't had the cleanest defense in game 1 and game 2, and now Mississippi State, their defense letting them down a bit in this inning.
And to sort something out here, maybe check this ball out as well. That was an awkward spinner kind of off the end of the bat. This might be the last batter in the Auburn order that you want to see as a pitcher right now in freshman Anna Lee Adams. 2 for 2 tonight. The pair of singles and a run scored. 10-game hit streak. Ball 1. She said 8
Chapin's number. And looking at Chapin's numbers too, her entire career, the 3 years that she was at LSU, she threw 10 complete games, Chucky. This year, already 8 complete games.
That is a filthy pitch for strike 1.
All you could do is really smile. This is what I look like hitting off of Taramoa. This is my face, just smiling and kind of chuckling, like, yeah, laughing, swinging and missing, not being able to pick it up. I feel you, Anna Lee.
It's fouled straight back for strike 2.
See if she goes to that changeup now that is down in the dirt. She'll throw that one through the strike zone, and then when she gets 2 strikes, work that changeup more down in the dirt. It's a little risky with the runner at third base, but a lot of confidence in Jessie Blaine in the way that she's received this year back behind the plate for State.
Peralta at third, McCrary at first. 2 outs. Outside ball 2.
Goes to that curved ball instead. A little bit off the plate. Good take by Adams.
From Liberty, Indiana, out of Union County High School. 2-2 is blocked up by Blaine.
And that's a changeup. Good block by Blaine. She's expecting it with 2 strikes, knowing that she's going to have to go down her knees and keep that one in front. And really great balanced take by Adams to work it to a full count and get to this next pitch.
Now 2 in scoring position as McCrary moved up to second. 3-2 is fouled. Still a hint of a smile there for Anna Lee Adams. She is just having fun right now early in her career.
She's been so clutch. So many of her hits early on have come with runners in scoring position, and she's produced RBIs.
First career hit was a 3-run home run against North Carolina. Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming up. Adams lifts it to left field. Bernardini is there. Chafin gets the job done and strands 2 on the base pass. But Mississippi State needs some offense. Chris Malvo's next. In his softball rise to prominence. He was an original member of the Aggie Batsmen at Texas A&M in 1997. Did not have a background in softball, Amanda, but ended up becoming a student manager in 2001. He has his first head coaching job in 2005. An incredible rise for him, and just a sport that he fell in love with at Texas A&M.
Yeah, so the Aggie Batsmen was a group of him and his friends that they started to come and essentially cheer on the team and promote the team and go and pass out flyers like, hey, it's game day, come to the game. And even before that, he did the same thing for what was called the Aggie Gents for the women's basketball team. So started the Aggie Batsmen and then got asked to be a student manager on the team for Coach Joe Evans, who was Hall of Fame coach, my coach that I played for at Texas A&M, and transitioned from being a student manager. He had a baseball background and just fell in love with softball at Texas Texas A&M by being in the stands to then being in the dugout as a manager and eventually a coach for a different team.
In the air by Edwards to right center field. Edwards drops it in and is into second with a leadoff double here in the 4th inning.
Mississippi State needed a hit like this, a swing like this from Kylie Edwards. Look at her get her barrel to this inside pitch, a pitch that Coach Malvo was just talking about that Haley Rainey had had success with, of jamming up the Mississippi State hitters. Instead, she gets her barrel extended for extra bases and a much better looking swing and barrel to that pitch than what we've seen up to this point from the Bulldogs.
Kylie Edwards gets it started. Now Morgan Bernardini at the plate. The left fielder walked in her lone plate appearance against Haley Rainey. Inside. Just one more thing on Chris Malvo. When we were talking to him, he told a great story about how he used to go to Dobie High School in Houston, Texas, and watch someone named Krista Williams. And he said she was unbelievable, loved watching her play. She ended up being a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, a 3-time All-American at UCLA and at Texas. You got to see her play as a young softball player, too.
Yeah, he went to Dobie High School, Coach Malvo did, and we put 2 and 2 together on our coach call, and I was just blown away at just how our paths have kind of crossed but not been at the same place at the same time. But I did go and watch Williams play. I mean, she was all the talk in the Houston Chronicle. You know, it was just a regular paper back then, not the internet. And so my parents took me to watch her play in a high school game, and I got my picture with her. That picture ended up being in the Houston Chronicle, a picture, one of the first pictures that I feel like I looked up to as a young softball player, and he was watching her too, inspired by her.
4-pitch walk to Bernardini. 1st and 2nd now for Mississippi State.
Still have that picture to this day. Here's the picture. It's a little bit blurry. Let's try to back it up a little bit. But this is me and Krista Williams. Oh, you can't really see her face. It's such a bummer. But I will always remember this moment because, you know, up until that point, Chucky, I just looked at Major League Baseball players and men playing, and I didn't really have any female athletes to look up to. And so going to watch Krista Williams play was my first memory of going to a softball game and looking up to a role model who I don't even think I was a pitcher at that point. I eventually became a pitcher, but that moment in that game always stuck with me. I've seen her pitch in person in high school and then go on to have an amazing collegiate career and then pitch in the Olympics too.
It's a power pitcher picture right there between you two. Couple All-Americans. Kaylani Sells, the younger sister of Kiara Sells, running at first base for Mississippi State. Riker Chasen and Haley Rainey having a laugh right now in the circle.
She's pitched so well up to this point. You can tell when the coach comes out that they kind of feel like it's a bet in this inning or in this game, that they got to have a little chat with their pitcher to get back on track. And with 2 on and nobody out, and talking the game plan with her right now about some adjustments and how he wants her to attack these hitters that are coming up.
Couple arms out in the Auburn bullpen. Emma Rolfe and Chaley Clemens, who we saw last night. Clemens, the longer outing, the big lefty from Alabaster, Alabama. 6'1" sophomore. Rolfe got the final out against Mississippi State. Junior from Madison, Alabama. The ball, though, still belongs to Haley Rainey. It's been a fantastic evening so far for her, but in some trouble in the bottom of the 4th.
I was thinking, too, about her start in game 1 and how she was just a little bit off. But think about it, Chucky was her first career game pitching in an SEC series. I'm sure as a transfer, the nerves are flowing. She's pitching on the road. There was a record crowd at Mississippi State on Saturday night in game 1 she pitched in front of. Loud, rowdy, cheering on the Bulldogs. And you step into that moment and you're maybe not necessarily going to pitch quite like yourself, but I love the way that she has rebounded in game 3. Probably went and watched some tape, had some meetings and conversations with Riker Chasen about some adjustments to make, and she's really made them. And we'll see how she's able to potentially get out of this inning, or I don't know how this is going to go. I feel like this is such a big moment in this game for her and for her team.
2-1 to Blaine, inside 3-1. 7-8-9 tonight for Mississippi State, 0 for 3. Blaine struck out looking her first time up. Oh, and got her.
That had some nasty on it. It was a little off speed, had some crazy spin to it. Jessie Blaine did not pick that one up out of the hand at all. And that big swing gets Haley Rainey right back into this count.
3-2, Rainey against Blaine. Goes back to it. Blaine learned her lesson, and she will take first to load the bases with nobody out.
What Mississippi State has done such a good job of this year, taking their walks, having patience. We talked about this in yesterday's game, but coming into this one, 95 walks to just 56 strikeouts. Lowering their strikeouts, having a good approach, playing at the plate, good eyes.
On the line for them, well, the top spot in the SEC after one weekend. They would be tied with Oklahoma and Kentucky, who both started their seasons 3-0 in conference play. First pitch to Styles, strike 1.
You see it on that first pitch, Chucky, the way that she can spin the ball up through the zone. Clemens from the left-hand side. To note that they went to Clemens instead of S.J. Guerin. Went to S.J. Guerin in game 1 after Haley Rainey got the start. Guerin threw 4 innings.
Up the middle base hit. It gets by the center fielder. All the way to the wall, and this should clear the bases. Style into third, and we've got a ball game in Starkville.
We said it to start this game is Auburn has to play clean defense. This is for sure going to be 1 run, maybe 2, but that getting behind your last line of defense out there in the outfield is going to clear the bases and get State right back into this game. This defense has been the Achilles heel of Auburn in this series, going back to game 1 when they gave up 3 unearned runs.
Clemens misses inside to Riley Hole. Samantha Ricketts loving what she's seen. The Bulldogs fighting back.
It never ceases to amaze me how quick a game can just change momentum, how suddenly a right turn can happen in these SEC conference series where Haley Rainey was rolling going into this inning, and it looked like that's how it was going to continue. But Kylie Edwards set the tone in this inning. Remember that leadoff double? She came up and punished that inside pitch for a double, and that double by Kylie Edwards made a statement to the rest of her team saying, hey, we're going to make adjustments against this pitcher. Little help from the Auburn defense, leading to State getting right back into this game.
Tying run at third, 3-0 pitch to Hull. Takes strike 1. Hold to the right side. They throw home, and the runner will stay at third. But Hull able to reach safely at first base.
Morgan Stiles hit third base. Must have just stopped on a dime to change her momentum and they get back to third base when they saw that, or when she saw that Auburn was going to go home. A little bit of a smile there, because usually as a runner at third base, ground ball to second, you're just going hard the whole way as soon as you see the ball down on the ground. But Morgan Stiles puts her foot in the ground, gets back to third, and now Mississippi State has 2 on and nobody out still. See the second baseman playing in. That ball got to her in a hurry, and then Morgan Stiles just stops about halfway down the line to get back to third. Knew that she was going to be out by a good amount, but heads up base running by the freshman, who stepped up in a couple of different ways in this series.
Five different players for Mississippi State with a hit tonight. They just haven't been able to string it together until this point. A couple walks and a couple hits in the inning. And the most dangerous hitter in the series, Sierra Sacco, a chance to tie it or potentially take the lead for the Bulldogs. 1-0, 2-0.
This is a hitter that has raised her OPS about 500 points from last season. Has such a good eye, takes her walks, leads the team in walks and an RBI, which is very impressive, as well as doubles.
.632 with runners in scoring position.
I feel like that's good.
Very dangerous count here. Barbary on deck. Still no outs. Draws the walk. Three walks, 2 hits. And Riley Hull reaching on the fielder's choice. We might have another change here. Riker chasing, pointing down toward the bullpen. We'll get a visit at least from Kate Malvo, the Auburn co-head coaches who handles all the defensive positioning and play calling.
See if it's going to be SJ Guerin who enters this game. I think they wanted Clemens to go a little bit longer to then bring SJ and relief to close this game, but I think that she'll be the one who has to enter now. So not exactly how Auburn really wanted to draw up this 4th inning at all. Again, I can't even wrap my head around how quickly the dynamic of this game has changed here in the 4th inning with how well Haley Rainey was doing, and she was just cruising. And Kylie Edwards has that double Auburn mistake, and this game is completely turned on its head.
SJ Guerin's 3rd appearance of the series. The transfer from Oklahoma, spent 2 years there, redshirted as a freshman, entered the weekend as the nation's win leader, 13-0, but has taken back-to-back losses in the first 2 games of this series. This is what she's done in the series. 6 total runs allowed, but the 3 in game 1 that led to the loss were all unearned. It was that defense that cost her. We did see a rare start for Guerin yesterday, Amanda, and they really got to her early.
Yeah, they did, and the majority of her appearances have been in relief, a role that she told us she's been loving, very comfortable in that relief role. So her entering in this game with the bases loaded and nobody else, and knowing what she got at Oklahoma and has been relied upon a lot and has really stepped up to the challenge up to this point this season.
13 wins, 4 saves. Leads the nation in wins, tied for third in saves entering the weekend. Her career record was 15-0. She was 2-0 in very limited action last year for the Sooners. First pitch in the dirt, blocked up by Brockman behind the plate. It's Nadia Barbary to face her first. Barbary, Sells, and Sosa all have some serious power, all with at least 5 home runs on the season. Hit hard to deep left field, and you can kiss that one goodbye. What a swing from Nadia Barbary.
Statement made, and that home run was out of here in a lickety-split second. I mean, that got out of here in a hurry. More of a line drive, home run over the left field wall. Nadia Barbary looks for that inside pitch. That was even about a ball off the plate, but she gets her barrel to that inside pitch, keeps it fair. Little bit of a bat flip, and State takes the lead. The scoreboard, my goodness, and there's still nobody out.
It Sells to swing through that pitch up in the zone. Mississippi State is 136-15 under Samantha Ricketts when they score 5 or more runs. (0-2) to Sells upstairs. Three of their 6 hits have come in this inning. They've also walked 3 times. There's the first out finally on a strikeout for Guerin, or excuse me, yeah, for S.J. Guerin.
Yeah, it's tough when you see 3 pitchers, Chucky, in an inning to keep track of who's in and who's out, and it is S.J.'s first strikeout. Good rebound by her after giving up the grand slam. Chucky, you know, I watch a lot of games. I watch a lot of softball. And to see a game change this quickly in 1 inning, it still just blows me away. I mean, this has happened so fast.
Started with the double by Kylie Edwards, then Stiles brought in 3 on a single that got by the center fielder Smith and went to the wall. That's upstairs for a ball to Lexi Sosa. Two and 1 from Guerin. Great pitch for strike 2. Too far inside. Sosa started this game in the circle, went 1 2/3, gave up 2 earned and 4 hits. 0 for 2 at the plate as she fouls that straight back.
That's a healthy cut right there. That pitch up and in her hands, and Sosa has such quick hands.
Mississippi State has typically been the fast starters this season. Auburn's been the team who's come from behind 13 times to recover wins as Guerin paints the inside corner for out number 2. It's the Bulldogs who are set up right now for their second comeback win, and there's still 3 innings to be played. Mississippi State showing a ton of fight this weekend.
There is a lot of game to be played, and number 2, Auburn, 13 come from behind wins for them as well. So not going to go away quietly with a veteran team, a lot of seniors, and props to S.J. Guerin for back-to-back strikeouts after giving up the grand slam, answering right back. Not easy to do at all. You're feeling down, frustrated, an inning that is just getting out of control for your team, but for her to slow the game down and get a couple of back-to-back strikeouts is going to speak volumes to her teammates that, hey, we're still in this.
Back to the player who started it all, Kylie Edwards. Count even at 1-1. Second double of this series coming to lead off this 4th inning. Ball 2. Kylie Edwards had a slow start to the season at just 5 hits through their first 11 games, but since that point, 11 games leading up to this series, was hitting .448. She takes strike 2. She's a great basketball player in high school at Shelbyville High School. Their all-time leading scorer, to go with how good of a softball player she was. Scored 45 in a game as a senior. SEC tournament this week. The women's tournament just wrapped up. The men are kicking off this week, and Edwards has her second hit. Bernardini walked her first time up this inning. Pinch ran for earlier, so she re-enters. 2 walks today. I'm excited to potentially hear more reactions from Samantha Ricketts after this inning. Again, if you joined us late, this is our first mic'd up Monday of the season. Next week, it's Florida. Tim Walton will be mic'd up for the Gators. '20th pitch for Guerin out of the bullpen, the second Auburn Tiger out of the bullpen in this inning, and now an 0-2 count to Bernardini.
Well, and I'm sure everybody's wondering is, will Tim Walton have as many pens as Samantha Ricketts? I mean, you're just going to have to tune in on a week from today and find out.
We might have to do standings, like keep a tally throughout the year. Well, the real SEC standings, and then we'll have the ones that are important, which is this. And the rainbow colored pens on the fence.
Well, there's 9 on the fence and maybe 1 in her hand. So at this point, there might be a pen for every run scored.
There's a gap, yeah, there between purple and the navy blue. That's, she's got one. Ball 1 to Bernardini. Guerin trying to end it here after 7 Bulldogs have come across in the inning. That's inside for ball 2.
Such good at bats by Mississippi State in this inning. Drawing a few walks, taking advantage of an error, the grand slam, a little bit of everything for their offense in this inning.
Another foul ball. Mentioned Auburn's tough schedule coming up. Mississippi State has a midweek against Middle Tennessee before they go to Alabama next Friday for a 3-game series.
Battling. Already 25 pitches that S.J. Guerin has thrown. I remember she's the third pitcher that we've seen in this inning. Still in the fourth inning.
To left field, foul ball. Pitch number 9 coming up next for Bernardini. You mentioned it, Amanda. All of Mississippi State's losses this season, they've been shut out, which is really surprising because 7 players who qualify entered the weekend hitting over 300. They've got great team power. And you've seen that in this inning as finally it ends. Peralta takes care of it, but the damage is more than done for Mississippi State.
7 runs scored before Auburn even recorded an out. 2 RBIs from the freshman Morgan Stiles, and then the grand slam by Nadia Barbary. That got out of here in a hurry. Mississippi State up by 3.
Samantha Ricketts loving it, but also very mindful to tell her to touch the plate as she rounded the bases on that grand slam. Nadia Barbary, potentially the hero for the Bulldogs tonight, but still 3 innings to play, and this is a dangerous Auburn lineup. 6, 7, 8 coming up for them as Raylan Chafin misses upstairs.
I mean, it almost feels like Auburn is down by 7 runs right now at this point, but you're just down by 3. And you have to put that into perspective because you did such a good job of getting out on top. Mississippi State had to claw to get back into this game, and you do have 7 runs, but you're still just down by 3 with plenty of time to get back into this game.
Amelia Leck down 1-2 in the count. Chafin looking for her 2nd win of the weekend after the save last night, and she gets Leck looking for the strikeout. Raylan Chafin hoping to get in cruise control right now, and what a tremendous story she is. A senior from Bossier City, Louisiana, spent 3 years at LSU. She enters the portal just a couple days after their season ends, commits to Mississippi State on June 12th. Then after a routine visit to the doctor, they did some testing, and she gets a call from the doctor telling her she's been diagnosed with thyroid cancer. So about a week later, after she goes back home to Bossier City, she has successful surgery, and just a couple months later, Amanda, a month and a half later, she's back in the circle pitching for Mississippi State, and now in the midst of a career year.
I mean, so many things that stand out to me about this story, and in particular, her resilience, her faith, her support from her parents, and specifically her mom and her sister, who is a med student, to help her through this. But I mean, just transferring alone to a new place, you're moving and figuring out your new team and your teammates in school. There's so much that goes on when you transfer to a new program. Nevertheless, always also having to deal with something that you just can't ever imagine hearing the words of, that you have cancer. And I feel for her so much for how that time played out for her, and being down for 3 weeks after the surgery and being back at home. And then the other thing that stuck out, Chucky, was just how badly she wanted to get back to Starkville to be with her teammates. Another strike for her is back-to-back strikeouts there. But I mean, this is her 2nd visit. She fell in love with Starkville, and this program immediately canceled all of her other visits because she wanted to be here and be a part of this program. And they wrapped their arms around her and helped her through the process. But think about it from a pitcher perspective. You want to make your senior year amazing, great, unbelievable, and then all of a sudden you find out that you have cancer, you have surgery, you're not able to pitch, you're not able to hit the weight room. I mean, all these things get taken away from you, and so for her to go through that and still be in the position that she has put herself in at this point in the season is the type of thing that I just get goosebumps all over my body for the type of young lady that she is to work through that and get back to where she is right now.
And of course, when she got to the real deal in the season, this is how she opened her Mississippi State career, Amanda, against Texas Tech, against the National Player of the Year, a tremendous outing.
Welcome to the 2025 season in a new uniform. Okay, go out and throw against Nyjah Kennedy, huh? And Mississippi State got that win. You see the competitiveness that she pitches with when she's in the circle. Now striking out the side with that changeup. Perseverance, resilience. What a story by Raylan Chafin. I won't look at her when she pitches ever again the same, knowing that she went through that. Striking out the side and showing the emotion to go with it.
Day with Tim Walton of the Florida Gators being mic'd up, but man, what a time that will be. That's the opener for Texas. That's their welcome to the SEC, and somehow this great conference has gotten even better because the teams who have spent the most time ranked #1 since 2021, Oklahoma and Texas, have joined.
Yeah, welcome to the SEC for Oklahoma. They had to face their undefeated team, their first SEC series in South Carolina and Norman. And for Texas, they're on the road in Gainesville, taking on one of the best teams in the country in Florida. And that's two of the best offenses in Texas and Florida. I cannot wait to watch Tegan Cavan pitch against the Florida hitters. A good one.
Florida was without Keegan Rothrock this weekend in College Station. They were still able to come away with the series win 2-1 over the Aggies. Leadoff hitter Jesse Blaine for Mississippi State ahead in the count 3-0 against S.J. Guerin. Blaine rips that to center field, ranging over is Smith for the first out.
It just seems like, too, Chucky, every weekend in the SEC, there's a top 5 matchup, a top 10 matchup where Missouri is going to beat up on everybody. And it's just crazy to think with the depth of this conference, one team can be the regular season champs. And who's that going to be? We have a long way to go, but whoever wins it this year is really going to make it memorable with Texas and OU joining this league and making it even tougher.
You would imagine the SEC champion would be the favorite heading into the postseason for who would potentially lift the trophy in Oklahoma City. I would imagine.
That's a great point.
Morgan Stiles has been outstanding in the series. 3 for 5, has driven in 5 runs. Trying to do it a little differently this time, but out by about a quarter of a step over at first base. 2 quick outs here for S.J. Guerin and company.
Well, and I thought that Kendra Falby made a great point. Like, if you're not watching that series next weekend, what are you even doing with your life? Could have been a tough play for the Auburn defense when they have not had the cleanest moments, but important to get it out here. Check swing ball put.
Guerin has that one dip out of the zone for ball 1. Still just a 3-run game. It just feels different. And you said that. It kind of feels like it's almost 7-0 the way this turned. How, if you're Auburn, do you get some energy back into this game?
You do it from the energy that S.J. Guerin is providing in the circle. I said it when it happened, but the back-to-back strikeouts that she had after the Grand Slam was a statement. And for a pitcher that the past couple of years has not had a ton of experience in these pressure-filled situations, again, I mean, that stands out to me, the way that S.J. Guerin handled that situation to get out of the inning after she gave up the Grand Slam. She entered into that game with the bases loaded, faced Nadia Barbary. She hit it out, but then responded with back-to-back strikeouts. And now getting 2 quick outs here, trying to give her team back some momentum and energy to get back into this game.
overall has retired 5 of the last 6 batters since the Grand Slam. It's off the handle, and it looked like it might have been caught in the air, or maybe not. Hole is up to second base. Roach threw it wide of Amelia Leck at first base.
I mean, it's just rushing in so many different ways, and this is why defense is so important. When you look at the stats in SEC play, Auburn has given up the highest amount of unearned runs of any team in the conference.
I thought live that she caught it in the air. Umpires James Colsey, Susan Eads, and Lyndon Baptiste having a conversation here after Chris Malvo came out of the Auburn dugout.
Auburn is challenging the fact whether the second baseman caught the ball or not. This play is under review.
Catch, no catch is reviewable, so they'll take a look and see if she got her glove underneath this ball in the air. Ooh. That's pretty close. What do you see?
I think that bounces.
I think so too. And I think that's why, too, that she was so set on playing it out. But I think it bounces.
Still would have had time to get Hull at first base, but rushed it a little bit and threw it toward the Auburn dugout. So the runner Hull should be on second base if this call is confirmed. Co-head coach is trying to figure a way forward with 6 outs to play with on the offensive side. A team that has done it time and time again. 13 come from behind wins this season.
After further review, the call on the field is upheld with no catch. That's Auburn's second and last challenge.
That is notable, too, that Auburn has no more challenges. The umpires can initiate challenges starting with the 6th inning. As James Colsey takes his spot behind home plate. One note on our home plate umpire, James Colsey, tonight. He is the head football coach at Florida A&M, and they have a couple good seasons under him as well. So we saw that name, and we were thinking, man, that sounds familiar. But the head coach at Florida A&M actually had their game against Miami earlier this year.
Don't see that too often.
Sierra Sacco takes the first pitch low. This is probably part of the reason you do want to challenge a play like that, because Sacco's the one who comes to the plate. 1-0. Catches the outside corner.
Really great point with the way that she's hitting the ball out of the ballpark, hitting gap to gap. Now you have a runner at second base and scoring position with your best RBI producer up at the plate.
Down in the count, 1-2 to Guerin. Would be a big out to send Auburn back to the plate. (9-1-2) coming up for Auburn when they come up in the top of the 6th. Did she go? No.
And she has such quick hands that Sierra Sacco can make such late decisions, like this decision here to hold back when she noticed that it was going to ride out of the strike zone. Good hold there to get to this 2-2 pitch here.
3-2. Sacco has reached twice tonight. A hit and a walk. Lifts this to center field. Smith goes back and they retire Sacco. And an important point in this game. Tigers need some offense as we go to the 6th. 7-4 Mississippi State over Auburn, but it was the Tigers who jumped out early, plating 2 in the second, 1 in the third, another in the fourth to build a 4-0 lead before this game just completely flipped on its head. We saw 3 different Auburn pitchers in the 4th inning to try to get Mississippi State out, but it was the grand slam from Nelia Peralta that has proved to be the difference for the Bulldogs as they look for their first 3-game sweep of Auburn at home since 2001. Nadia Barbary with the grand slam, actually, not Nelia Peralta for Auburn. Excuse me. Auburn 13 come from behind wins, though. This is not a team that will shy away from a moment like this. They are staring down Raylan Chafin, who has had a fantastic start to the season as the bunt gets laid down. Great speed there as Smith is on.
Just a perfectly executed drag bunt by Abby Smith, who, you know, she stepped up to the plate thinking, I have to do whatever I possibly can to get on base after committing that error that led to the bases being cleared for Mississippi State to get back into this game.
Sets the table for the top of the order. Isis Tresvik 0 for 3 tonight. Big swing there and fouls it back off of Jesse Blaine. Most come from behind wins in Division I softball this year. But if you're Raylan Chafin in the circle, having the type of season she's having, and we talked about how great of a story she is, what's going through her mind against this Auburn lineup?
To throw her strengths and to really trust in her game plan, knowing that she has that 3-run lead, and to lean on her changeup the way that she did in the 5th inning. Whenever she struck out the side, all 3 of those strikeouts were with that changeup.
Oh-1 popped up right to Chafin. That is a generous out number 1.
It's a big one. Looking at her pitch usage from last year at LSU to this year with Mississippi State, I just love looking at these transfers and how different pitching coaches call the game differently for a pitcher that comes into their program. But a few things that stuck out to me: using her curveball less than what she did last year at LSU by less than 15% less. Using her changeup 11% more. And then using her rise and drop even more. So what I take from that is that here at Mississippi State, she's become a more vertical, up and down changeup pitcher with the pitches that are being called by Taryn Mowat. There's that changeup for the first strike of the at-bat. This is something that Taryn Mowat told me, that she didn't want to look to see what her pitch usage was at LSU. She just wanted to work with Raylan Chafin, look at her data, work with her, talk to her, and see how they're going to come up with a game plan for her pitch usage and how they're going to go about getting outs.
Part of that change, Amanda, is a player willing to make it. And Samantha Ricketts told us that when she came in, it was immediately, what can I do? Who do you need me to be for this team to have the most success? She's embraced that. It just turns out that she has become the undisputed ace of this staff and leader for this team. Off-speed Peralta into right field at Sells. 2 outs.
Well, and this is her striking out the side back in the 5th inning with the changeup. Look at the different locations that she brings this changeup. A little bit actually more up in the zone, then a little bit further down, and then even further down. So sometimes you say climb the ladder going up, whatever the opposite of I don't know, sliding down the ladder is with the changeup going down in the zone, but you see the command that she has of that pitch, something that she's really developed this year to have more confidence in that pitch than what she did last year at LSU.
Delivers strike one to Anna Wohlers on the outside corner. You're talking about pitch usage there and all the percentages. What would have been your highest usage pitch? Like what percentage and what pitch?
Mine would have been drop ball. Yeah, drop ball, and then second most screwball. To find out this information, that's, you know, what makes it so tough to be a pitcher in this day and age of data and technology, is that every opponent that you face has access to the same information that I pulled those numbers from. So you know that Raylan Chafin throws her curveball at 34%. You know that she throws her changeup at 21% of the time. You can even look at specific counts to see what pitch pitchers like to throw in counts.
That's what you were talking about earlier, too, with hitters coming to the plate and freshmen coming into their seasons, being able to communicate to coaches, how much do you really want from me and what can I give you without overwhelming you? That's got to be a big piece of this puzzle.
There is just oodles of information that you could get lost in. And I even get lost in it when we're looking up things preparing for a series. So you have to be careful about what you take in, what you want, what you don't want, and how you want to utilize that information in practice and in games.
2-2 count for Chafin against Anna Wohlers, who has flied out 3 times to left field tonight. One hit in the series was a double. Did she go? No. The crowd thought they had strike 3, as did Chafin.
Good hold back, I think. Sometimes that can go one way, sometimes it can go another way. Let's see what happens here.
It was close, but I thought there may have just been a little space there before she broke the plane. That might have been a great call.
Mississippi State is challenged whether the ball was foul-tipped or not. This play is under review.
So we were thinking that the argument was the check swing, which is not reviewable, but they are challenging the foul tip.
Does kind of look like to me that it makes a little bit of contact right there. These things are so hard, and it's like, how did we ever just do this 100% live without video review? And you just go with whatever the call is on the field. You know, we didn't have this for a while.
I think we've looked at too much slow-mo video today, because now I'm not sure what I'm seeing exactly. I feel for the folks making the decisions tonight.
All right, let's see if we hear it. Let's see if we hear the foul ball.
I'm not sure. I don't think I heard anything, but there might have been a little misdirection of the ball going into the glove. I mean, if you saw behind the plate, it did end up kind of, she almost dropped it, which makes you think somebody who receives the ball as well as she has this weekend, that it was misdirected.
See, what I think I see is it making contact and changing direction. Right there, get the top of the ball. Yeah. Okay, I'm sold. I see contact. We'll see if this play is overturned.
I think that should reach the threshold of indisputable video evidence based on the look that we just had. Great look from our crew, Kevin Kramer, our producer, our director, Alex Siver. Great group of folks here in Starkville this weekend. We are just kicking off the SEC softball slate. Already saw some wild results. Maybe none more than the Oklahoma-South Carolina series that ended with 3 one-run wins for the Sooners. Of course, Ole Miss kind of upsetting Arkansas this weekend, taking 2 of 3 from the Razorbacks.
And Arkansas answered back big in Game 3, scoring 20 runs. All right, what do we have here?
James Colsey III's getting a workout in tonight.
Further review. The call on the field.
Batter's out.
That is it for the inning. Raylan Chafin has been rolling since entering this game. Her 4th strikeout, and we are going to the bottom of the 6th. The dancing, the celebrating, the big swings. Nadia Barbery's grand slam earlier in this game. A fantastic weekend at News Park here in Starkville, Mississippi. The Bulldogs looking for the sweep of Auburn. 2-3-4 due up for Mississippi State. Nadia Barbary will lead things off in the inning against S.J. Guerin, who has settled in very nicely after the grand slam to the first batter she faced, Barbary. Ground ball right side taken care of by Amelia Leck for out number 1. That brings up Kiara Sells, the right fielder, who's 1 for 3 tonight. Kiara, a great story. Didn't see a lot of plate appearances in her first couple seasons, but has come on really strong this year. She is actually deaf in 1 ear. Plays with a hearing aid after beginning her career without one, and wants to be an advocate for athletes with hearing loss to kind of break the stigma around hearing aids in sports.
And this is her getting an opportunity to meet an 8-year-old young player on Saturday night named Hayes Tyndall, who is also deaf in 1 ear. There's a travel ball tournament in town that Hayes was playing in, and what happened was about 6 days ago is World Hearing Day, and Mississippi State made a post about Kiara Sells and her story of wearing a hearing aid since she was 8 years old. And Hayes' dad saw that tweet, reached out to Coach Ricketts about them attending the game on Saturday night, and asked if they could set up a meeting so that Hayes could meet Kiara. So Kiara had said in that tweet posted for World Hearing Day that she got her hearing aids when she was 8 years old and was really nervous about wearing it, and now she helps inspire other young girls and softball players to wear theirs, and is an inspiration to many.
What a moment for the young Hayes Tyndall, whether she wants to continue playing softball or just an impact in her life that Kiara Sells has made this weekend, taking the time to do that. Just a great story. 1-2 pitch to Sells is in the dirt, 2-2.
You know, we can get so locked in on a game and a program and a season and how a player is performing, and you just get caught up in the whirlwind of softball. But the impact that these players have on a younger generation of 8, 9, 10, 15, 16 years old doesn't get talked about enough. They're role models for younger players who look up to them.
Sells was hit by that pitch, but pretty clearly looked like she leaned into it, and James Colsey immediately made the call. She would not be taking first base. Two-two. Off speed low. Excuse me, that was 3-2, and so she will take first base now on the walk. Still danger here if you're Auburn, trying to keep this within striking distance with 3 outs to play with, and Lexi Sosa now at the plate. Just 1 hit in the series, but it was a home run last night.
If they'll challenge her on that outside corner. It's been what has been so impressive of Lexi Sosa this year, her opposite field power. When pitchers try to work that outside corner against her, she just goes the opposite way with power.
Popped up and toward the netting. It does get out of play into the stands.
Good pitch location by S.J. Guerin, who really enjoyed talking to her, Chucky, coming into this series and just learning more about her story and her new role as a relief role and working with Riker Chasen. I mean, we had a chance to learn a lot about her and her journey to make it to where she's at Auburn.
She said that her mom actually heard Riker Chasen speak at a conference during the Women's College World Series last year. And this is when SJ's still at Oklahoma, of course, and her mom just raved about his outlook on pitching and said, you know, I wish you could have heard him talk. So SJ, of course, enters the portal, and a week after she does, Riker Chasen calls her, and there he is, saying all the same things that her mom had heard that she loved. And SJ said, I was loving it too, and it was a pretty easy decision for her to make the commitment.
Yeah, her mom was a pitching coach at Tulsa, and when SJ started pitching, her mom taught her her whole life until she started working with Kat Osterman her senior year. Pitched her little sister too.
Chance for 2, quick flip, and they do. Roll a pair for S.J. Guerin, who gives Auburn one last chance. 3 outs to play with as we go to the 7th for the Tigers. It's 4-5-6 coming up. Back in the 2nd inning when Auburn got things rolling, Annalee Adams led it off with a single, and then Amelia Leck back-to-back base hits before Kylie Brockman brought in a pair of runs, and all was looking well, Amanda, for Auburn, and then the 4th inning.
Well, they were up 4-0, and then Mississippi State answered back in the 4th inning. They scored 7 runs before recording an out. It was capped off by Nadia Barbry's grand slam to give them the lead. But Kylie Edwards started that inning as the leadoff hitter with a double, and Mississippi State was able to capitalize on an Auburn couple of defensive mistakes. And now here we are.
First pitch from Chafin misses for ball one, looking for their first 3-game sweep at home since 2001 against Auburn. And a major tone setter for the rest of this Mississippi State season as KK McCrary leads it off and fouls that back 1-1. Prairie has reached twice tonight, a single in the 4th, a walk, and scored in the 3rd. But a 2-run home run last night chases that one out of the zone. They throw to first and get her. I thought that was just strike 2. That was just strike 2 on the batter, and that's what James Colsey's looking for too.
See just about everything in this game tonight. James Colsey really getting worked back behind the plate. at.
So we're going to sort this out. McCrary hoping she's going to get one more crack at this. It looks like she will. The umpires are going to have to talk things over first. McCrary is at the plate. Samantha Ricketts is going to get an explanation from James Colsey III. See if McCrary can make it count. This is a two-strike count, Amanda. This is the real deal this time.
Here we go.
Check swing did not go.
A little crazy, a little kooky on Monday night. Check swing check here. She hooked back, so she still has life. It's like a cat with 9 lives up there in this AB.
Got her that time. Chafin, another strikeout, number 5 out of the bullpen.
She means business. Pitching with so much heart, so much grit. Loving the fact that she's getting the ball in all these big moments. I love it for her.
Chafin now 3 innings, 2 hits allowed, 5 strikeouts. Change up to start off Anna Lee Adams. Here's the series for Raylan Chafin. 12 innings, has given up 10 hits, 4 earned runs, 7 walks, most of those on night number 1, and 17 strikeouts. 11 of them in game 1, a career high.
I think last year at LSU, she threw a career high 88 innings pitched in the season. And now she's quickly approaching that with 74 innings coming up under her belt. We're just to the beginning of March. But, you know, she told us, Chucky, when she entered the portal, she said she entered thinking, I don't know what's going to happen. I might go somewhere and play. I might not play, but I'm more than okay with not playing. I just can't handle the stress anymore, but she would be fine without playing. And so I think that mindset just kind of takes some pressure off of her to play free this year in her senior year, despite everything that she went through in the fall.
Told us she is playing every game like it is her last, trying to enjoy every moment. One-two to the freshman Adams. 2 for 3 tonight. Inside ball 2. She just has nerves of steel at the plate. We saw her in the last at-bat against Chafin, just fighting off those change-ups relentlessly, trying to time them up. Ended up flying out to left field. He's worked this count to 2-2. Up the middle, Edwards is there and takes care of it. 2 outs.
Mississippi State, if they go on to get this final out of the game, they'll remember this one. Getting down by 4 runs to an Auburn team that came out, scored early, put it on them, and Mississippi State found a way to get back into this game, take the lead, and then control the end of the game here. Sam Ricketts smiling now in the dugout. A lot to smile about, how her team has answered back late in the game.
Last chance for Auburn on the weekend. Amelia Leck. They entered SEC play 20-1 on a 9-game win streak. In danger of being swept to open conference play. All 1. Big cut there from Amelia Leck for strike 2.
The pitches are really sharp tonight.
One strike away from a perfect weekend for the Bulldogs. The 1-2. Got her! Chafin slams the door shut with strikeout number 6. Their first 3-game sweep at home of Auburn since 2001.
And sweeps in the SEC and any conference, but particularly in the SEC with the talent level, are so difficult. You feel good about winning 2 out of the 3 games in a series, but you feel even sweeter, even better with a 3-game sweep. It is not easy to do, and you can tell Mississippi State feeling the comeback, the excitement from the competitiveness and emotion that they got from Raylan Chafin in the circle, come in relief to finish this game. A comeback win, and Mississippi State making a statement early on in SEC play with this sweep.
The 22nd ranked team in the country this week and trending up after the sweep of Auburn to improve to 22-3 on the